Hi friends, a warm welcome back to our channel. This is Chittapas bringing you a new story today, Chittapas or Cheats, published in the Chittapas magazine. It's a folk tale from Tamil Nadu. So let's move towards the story. Paramasivan was a clever boy. His mother and father died when he was a child. Grand, his grandmother was very affectionate towards him, and so he started living with her. The old woman, whose eyesight was failing, found him very helpful. Whenever he saw her straining at some chore, Paramasivan would rush to her and say, "Pati, let me do it for you. You may rest till I finish the job." Paramasivan attended the nearby school, which worked only in the morning. By the time he returned, his grandmother would have prepared a meal. The boy enjoyed the food not because of its taste, but he had his party to keep company with him. The boy therefore took care to see that he did not join the other boys in their games at the end of the school, but he went straight to his home as his grandmother would be waiting for him to serve his food. One day, when he came from school, Paramasivan saw two strangers with his grandmother. "Paramu, come and meet your Chittapa." They all sat together to eat the meal the old woman had prepared. The boy noticed the men often whispering to themselves. They stayed with Paramasivan and his grandmother for a day. The next morning, they told the old woman, "If you will allow us, Mummy, we would take Paramasivan with us. Let him meet his other relatives in the village. We will send him back after 2 days." The boy was not very happy about leaving his grandmother alone, but on seeing her nodding in approval, he went with them. The three had not walked for them far when they asked Paramasivan to carry their box and basket. One of them placed the basket on his head, and the other, who had the box with him, made him hold it by the handle. The boy found both the box and the basket quite heavy, but he did not utter a word of protest and managed to walk slowly behind them. Luckily, they reached a village and stopped there. This is this the village where my relative lived?" the boy asked. He saw the two men looking at each other and smiling wickedly. Paramasivan realized that his suspicion had only been confirmed. They had all along cheated him with his grandmother by posing as his father's brothers. They replied, "No, that is the next village. You stay here and take care of this basket. We will go to the market and come back soon." "Yes, Chittapa," said Paramasivan. "Paramu," said one of them, and as he lifted the box, "don't open the basket. We had captured a rare snake and we were taking it to our village." The two men then left. Paramasivan waited for both of them to return for a long time, but there was no sign of them. He was feeling very hungry. It was a deserted place, and there was no road nor many trees. He he sat on one of the roots jutting out of a tree, contemplating how long he should wait if his uncles did not turn up, how he should go back to his grandmother. Out of his sheer curiosity, he opened the basket and kept the lid aside. He did not see any snake. There was a neatly folded shawl on top. Would the snake be beneath the shawl? He gave a little kick to the basket and stood away. No snake came out. He cautiously lifted the shawl and found that the basket contained eatables, sweet meat, and some delicious and delicacies. Paramasivan let out a sigh of relief. He could now satiate his hunger, and if his uncle questioned him, he would have a perfect answer. How long could he remain hungry? One thing was certain: the two men had wanted to cheat him by saying the bag contained a rare snake. Why did they tell him a lie? He wondered. After helping himself with the delicacies and some of the sweet meat, he closed the basket and tied it securely, just as if it was left to be taken care of by him, and decided to leave the place. He retraced his steps on the pathway, thinking that he would somehow reach his village and go back to his grandmother. As he walked, he came across a river which he was sure he and his uncles had not crossed. Now a doubt arose in his mind. Should he cross the river or walk along its bank till he came upon a road? He hoped there would be a bridge up somewhere, so he walked along the bank. Suddenly he heard footsteps. Two persons approached him from the opposite direction. They looked like guards or soldiers. They stopped on seeing Paramasivan. One of them asked Paramasivan, "Who are you, young man?" He mentioned his name and said, "I belong to a village in Dharmapuri. I was going with my uncles when they left me to attend to some errand. I waited for a long time. They did not come back, so I started back for my village. I am not sure whether I took the right pathway. We are the king's guards and we are looking for two men who had escaped with his jewels." They explained, "Did you by any chance see two men?" "None other than my uncles," said Paramasivan. "Now that you will tell me about the two men and the king's jewels, my doubts have only been confirmed." And the boy narrated how the men had introduced themselves as his father's brothers and how they persuaded his grandmother to let them take him along with them. He also told them about the box and the basket and how he felt cheated. "They could be the men we are searching for." The guardsman said, "Will you take us to the place where they had left you? They might have now come back and have been waiting for you." "Don't worry, we'll take you back to your village." Paramasivan now led the way. He recognized the deserted place where he was left to wait with the basket. Suddenly, he halted. He could see at a distance the two men sitting below the tree and eating. The basket and the box were by their side. One of the guardsmen said, "Paramasivan, you go to them alone, and while you three talk, we shall come from behind and catch them. If they are not the men we want, we shall let them free. Remember, we'll take you back to your village." Paramasivan looked forward to some exciting adventure. He mustered courage and went forward. He heard one of them shout, "There, that mischievous boy is coming." "Where are you?" the other asked angrily, holding him by his shoulders. "Chittapa, I waited for you for a long time, and then I went in search of you," said Paramasivan innocently. "And also I was feeling very hungry. We told you not to open the basket. Why did you then open it?" "I wanted to take a look at the snake. There was no snake, and I saw some delicacies inside instead," the boy replied. "So what you told me was a lie," he added boldly. One of the men caught Paramasivan's hand, and the other was about to thrash him. The boy resisted, and there was a scuffle. The two men did not notice the guardsmen behind them. They knew their presence only when their hands were caught and tied up from behind. "So you are the ones who escaped with the king's jewels. Where have you hidden them?" one of the guardsmen asked angrily. The two men knew their game was up. They confessed, "We sold them to a pawnbroker." One of the guardsmen took one of the men to the pawnbroker. The man was made to return the money and collect the jewels. They both came back and joined the other three. The guards, the two men, and Paramasivan then marched to the palace, where the king ordered the men to be imprisoned. He complimented Paramasivan for helping the guardsmen to catch the two thieves. The boy was taken back to his village, and he told his grandmother what had happened. She shed tears of joy. She hugged the boy. "Parmu, I never knew you could be so bold as to tackle two thieves. I'm sorry I believed them when they told me they were your Chittapa." A few days later, the king sent for Paramasivan and his grandmother and gave them a place in the palace to live. He also appointed tutors for Paramasivan, who realized he did not have to bother about his future. So this was the story published in the Chandamama magazine. Till I come back with a new episode and a new story, till then, stay safe, take care. This is your Chandamama signing off from your channel.